Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Cowgirl Clue album, entitled Icebreaker. So Ashley Rose, also known as Cowgirl Clue and previously known as Woo Woo, is an electronic music producer and songwriter from Texas, and this is her major full-length album release. Back in 2016 she released an EP by the name of Limelit, but this is her major album. It's 14 tracks and it's 34 minutes. So this year has not been without its great electronic music albums, and I've covered quite a few this year, and I'm very happy with the ones that I have been turned on to. But occasionally in the underground there are some releases that I'm just not able to get to because I don't know they exist, I don't hear about them, and at the end of the day I'm just one guy, and even though I follow a ton of labels and put like so many hours into just researching things and finding new music to review, I will thank one of my subscribers for turning me on to this album. Which I don't say that enough. If you want me to review something, or at least check out something, please leave it in the comment section of any review that you're watching, because I read all comments and usually reply to them, and I do take a lot of suggestions. In fact, one of my 10 out of 10s this year, Sayer's album, was a request from a viewer. This is a sunny, well-produced electronic album. The synths, both intrusive and bold and kind of spacious, moody, and low-key, dominate a lot of these tracks. The hits of percussion that carry a lot of these tracks and the meticulous instrumentals that back them are just so gorgeously assembled. The occasional spots where instruments that are not on all of the tracks pop in are some of the most dimension-adding moments on the album, and some of the most defining instruments in my opinion, such as the cute little xylophone that's played on the chorus of the first track, A Figure 8, or the subtle electric guitar that's played on the track Icebreaker in the background near the latter half. Every track on this album is soaked in this meticulously assembled electronic blissful instrumentation that is just so cute, so bubbly, so simplistic, but meticulous all at one time. The instrumentals are 100% the standout thing on this album. A lot of these tracks also have this Japanese electronic flavor to them, the way these very pretty synths are in these massive compositions, and they pay heed to both patience but kind of bombastic bliss, and it's something I could definitely hear a Kiari Pamu on if she maybe toned it down a little bit. Speaking of Icebreaker, the thumping percussion and the very pretty synths make it feel like such a sanguine track to me. It sounds like a beam of sunlight just piercing through this composition. While the track Buzz Out has this trap percussion to it, alongside tropical instrumentation, it sounds like Hawaiian trap EDM music, like beachfront music. The Dream's Will is probably one of the more serious and one of the only more serious instrumental points on the album. The opening refrain is as blissful as ever, but then it descends into this low-thumping EDM-style synth chord and percussion. Kinda like knock-knock percussion. Tracks like Tainted and An Accessory are very beautiful, kind of psychedelic, synthy-led tracks with some really nice instrumental embellishments at certain points, such as the tambourine that comes on the track Tainted. Hat off. Let's talk about why I don't really like this album as much as I'm letting on. The instrumentals are so good, they're so damn good, they're really good on this album, but the vocals and the lyrics suck. I'm not saying that Ashley is a bad vocalist, I'm just saying she's a very nondescript vocalist. Her vocals come off so annoying on this album, and the effects that are put on her vocals, whether it be this auto-tune or this reverb-soaked sound, it just comes off so corny and so intrusive, and it's like an obstacle for these instrumentals that are just so pretty and so vibrant and so exuberant, and then you just get in like a nondescript vocalist singing lyrics that are so dime a dozen, to the point to where they're so simplistic they can literally make me cringe. Her vocals are present, but not necessarily in the best way possible, because I don't like how present they are. Sometimes they swallow the instrumental, and I'm not saying they're louder, I'm just saying they just like stand in the way of these great instrumentals. To the point to where I would like this album so much more if it was just an instrumental album. It's a very sweet album by an instrumental standpoint. They're so easy to get behind, they're so bubbly and so cute and so experimental at times with some of the instruments that they pile on, and in my opinion they're the intrinsic thing when it comes to the enjoyability of this album. and provide an apt example for what more pop artists kind of need to take heed from to make pop music that's not only catchy but still has a little bit of, not necessarily experimentation, but instrumentals that are pushing the boundaries a little bit when it comes to conventional, just the same old instruments that are in a lot of mainstream pop music. And maybe some interesting progressions in the music. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because the instrumentals are so good, but the vocals and the lyrics off-put me so much on this album, it's not even funny. And not even to the point to where, oh, this track's a little off-putting, or I'm gonna have to get used to this, to the point to where every single track unanimously on this album bore me from a vocal standpoint and make me cringe from a lyrical standpoint. And it's a shame because it's a very nice album, and I'm giving it a higher score than a middle-of-the-road score for the instrumentals, but I would like it a lot more if it was just a little bit more fleshed out in the vocal department. Maybe if she got features, or maybe if some of these tracks were just instrumentals, or I'm not sure what could have necessarily made this album better. Well, I guess I am. If it was just an instrumental album, or if there were features, or if she just didn't sing as much. I understand she's trying to be as bubbly and match the kind of, like, sunny vibe of all these tracks, but it just makes her come off sounding very mundane and tedious. Her vocal range isn't that wide, and I'm not a big fan of how she tries to manipulate it with auto-tune and all these different effects. Overall, it's a very good album from an instrumental standpoint, and if you can get by the vocals, which I'm not a big fan of, maybe you will be, I feel like you probably will enjoy this album, because the instrumentals are honestly some of the best electronic pop instrumentals I've heard in a while, and it's a shame that the vocals that accompanied them and the lyrics that accompanied them couldn't have been better. I'm gonna be giving this album a 6 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Please stay for the end screen. I'll link some videos that you might be interested in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It'll help me out a lot. And like this video if you enjoyed. Smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. And I'll talk to you guys next time. But until then, my name is Jay Morse, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.